I finally played Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and it was a video game. So I've been a big fan of Donkey Kong Country ever since the first one on the SNES. I remember playing specifically the first one. I played a ton with my cousin on his SNES, and it was a hard video game, but it was fun. It was a fun platformer that we got tons of hours out of. And then later I ended up getting the second one on my Nintendo DS. My Nintendo DS Lite specifically. I got the Game Boy Advanced copy, and I played a lot of that. I don't think I ever beat it because it was really tricky. I got stuck on this level where you have to climb up. You're playing as the snake, and poison rises. I could never beat it. I was a kid. Maybe someday I'll go back. Fast forward years later to when me and my friends started streaming on the RadKatz Twitch channel, which is RIP. Been frozen in cryo sleep, and who knows when we will open up that tube. Back in the day, we played Donkey Kong Country Returns, and that game was incredibly hard. It was a very hard game, but we did play it, and we ended up beating it on stream. Zay and I were the ones that finally finished that game. So anyway, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a sequel to that was released in 2014 on the Wii U, which was then later ported to the Switch. For good reason. Yeah, it according to the internet across both the Wii U and the Switch platforms, it had sold about 6.14 million copies, which is pretty good. It sold 2 million on the Wii U and then sold 4.6 on the Nintendo Switch. So how do I feel about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? Now, this is a game I've been wanting to play for a very long time. I believe I got the game for Christmas like 3 or 4 years ago, so I've been sitting on it for a while and just haven't gotten to it. Been playing lots of things in between, but anyway, I finally got to this game, and it's one I've been wanting to play for a while because I've heard from so many different people, YouTubers, friends, that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze may just be the greatest 2D side-scrolling platformer ever made. After playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, I'm going to have to disagree with that statement. Although I do believe it is one of the best. It's very good. I'm going to talk about all the things I really like about it, things I didn't like about it, and then I'm going to tell you what my personal favorite 2D platforming video game ever made is. And it's one that I've already made a video on our main channel, so I'll get to that later. But yes, Tropical Freeze this is a very hard video game. It is an incredibly difficult platformer, and really fits right in with all of the other Donkey Kong Country games I've played, because those are also very difficult. Kind of the story is DK Island gets frozen over by penguins, and it's up to Donkey Kong and his friends to save the day. So your main character is Donkey Kong, but the secondary characters you can get is Diddy Kong, who his ability is you can fly with his jetpack, which that's what it was in the first one in Donkey Kong Country Returns. Then you can play as Dixie Kong, who she has like a hair whip thing that you can fly with. You actually can't play as these characters, you still play as Donkey Kong, just these characters can help you out. And then the third one is Cranky Kong, actually, where you can use his wooden cane as like a pogo stick, which is pretty cool because you can bounce on spikes, you can bounce on enemies, and you can continue to keep bouncing. So you'd be like, well, why would you ever play anything else? Because you could never die that way. Well, you can fall into pits. There's still enemies above you that you can bonk your head on and whatnot. So it's not a get out of jail free card, but playing as Cranky was probably the funnest for me because of doing the combos of like bouncing off enemies and killing them, and then bouncing off of spikes, or there's a saw blade coming and you can bounce off that. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of the level design is super cool. There is quite a few levels that you can play. I think there's 6 main world stages with I think 6 to 8 levels in each one of those. Maybe more, maybe less. There's also secret levels that you can unlock, which I don't think I did. I don't think I locked any of them. Maybe I did, I don't know. Because at the end of each stage, there's like a second exit that you can do, which I'm assuming that some of those unlocks some of those secret stages. So yeah, the level design is really cool. A lot of sections throughout each levels were pretty sick. Like there's a lot of, not chase sequences, but you're on like rail carts, so it's an auto scroller, and seeing how some of the level gets unfolded is really cool. There was a lot of different sections where my mind was kind of blown. I'm like, wow, this is very cool how they went about designing this. But there's other levels where you can't really see Donkey Kong. You see like a silhouette, and you see a silhouette of the platforms and stuff. So it's kind of a different take and a different perspective on that. There are different modes that you can play that makes the game easier. You can play just the Donkey Kong mode, which is just the basic game, and it's incredibly difficult. And then you can play the Funky Kong mode, which it gives you 5 hit points. He's got like a double jump. He's got a kind of a floating thing where he's floating on his board, and it's basically easy mode, which even though I played half of the game on Donkey Kong mode and then switched when I got to like world 4 or 5, the lava world. I got to that, and then I had switched to Funky Kong, not knowing, like I didn't play the lava world and then switch. I just switched. I was like, well, I just want to try out Funky Kong, and switched, and thank God I did, because there was like one of the lava levels that was so incredibly difficult, and I was struggling with Funky Kong, so I can only imagine how hard it would have been not playing on easy mode. So you do have that at your disposal, but also just playing the regular game. They give you lots of different items that you can use to help you out. Like there's balloons you can buy that give you extra lives. There's balloons you can buy that if you fall off a cliff or you fall in a pit, it brings you back up. So there's just other things that you can buy, different items and whatnot. So you have to collect coins in order to buy those items. And there's tons of coins you can collect throughout each stage. Playing the game just regular, not even going out of my way to hunt coins. I had hundreds of these things that I was able to spend on tons of these different items. So yeah, there's lots to collect. You can still collect the Kongs, like the K-O-N-G letters. There is bananas, obviously, that you can collect. The balloons are your lives. You've got the animal buddies that you can find in different levels that you can do that. One of my favorite parts about this game is a lot of the music is like, it's got leitmotifs and callbacks to different games. Obviously, my favorite being the aquatic ambient theme. So anytime you're in water, you get the banger song. So this game, to me, playing through Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, it is a very creative masterpiece. Like it is really quite a fun platformer, and I had a ton of fun with this. I beat it in about 8 hours, although it offers a lot of replayability. I, however, don't think I'll play anymore. Like I had my fun with it, got my fill, and I'll move on to something else. So, man, honestly, if I had to rate this game, I'd probably give it like a 9. Probably a 9, yeah, 9 out of 10. It's just that good of a platformer, and once again, it's very difficult, but you can... There's lots of resources you can use to get past it and beat it. There's lots of boss fights too. Some of them were pretty easy, some of them were a little more difficult, but they were fun. The one that I was stuck on the most, it was the kind of the Viking dude. He was difficult, and I was stuck on him for a while, but I ended up beating him and essentially beat the game after that. Although, like I said, there's a lot of post-game content that you can do. I don't know if I'll do it unless you guys in the comments say that I should, because it's that awesome. So, yeah, I enjoyed this game. Do I think it's the greatest side-scrolling 2D platformer? No, I don't. I still firmly believe at this point in time in 2025, granted I haven't played every 2D platformer ever made, but I believe that the best one that has been made is actually Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Now, I'm not going to get into every little detail of why I think that, but the level design was awesome. There's lots more to collect. It's got a super fun overworld to mess around with, and it has a gauntlet at the end of the game called the Impossible Lair, which tests all of the tricks and abilities and everything that you've learned throughout the entirety of the game. You can put it to the test in this gauntlet called the Impossible Lair, which is like a 25-minute level for normies and like 16 minutes for speedrunners. Incredibly long level, and I couldn't even do it. It was a ton of fun. It was really fun to watch myself progress and get better, but I couldn't even beat it. So anyway, yeah, I've already made a video talking about Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It's on our main channel, just on RadKatz proper, and you can go check it out. But yeah, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair I think is still my number one for 2D side-scrolling platformers. and maybe someday I'll find something that tops that and is better. I think Tropical Freeze is a close second in my opinion. Tons of fun, very creative, but I think Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair just does it better. And granted, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair takes a lot of inspiration from Tropical Freeze, and after playing Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Returns, that's exactly what I would say is that Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but better. More to do, more collectibles, really fun and creative level design. So yeah, I'm still gonna give it to Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. So anyway, that's my thoughts on DK Country Tropical Freeze. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this game down below. Let me know of other 2D platformers that I should play that you think are really cool and that I should check out. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep it rad.